All right, live. All right. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. This is your boy, Mr. T Money 1993, with the Southbound and Down show. And we got a panel of guys from the NFC South who definitely know about their teams and know a little something about each other's team. Let's start off with Greg. Greg Barber, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Barber, Saints representative, a Saints fan. You can contact me at IntenseGB on Twitter. I'm always around, so feel free to follow me. I will follow back.
All right. Next, we have David. This is first time on the show as a Bucks representative. Let everybody know where they can reach you at, David.
All right, how you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on here. Like you said, my name is David Harrison. I write for the pewterplank.com, covering the Buccaneers exclusively. You can also find me at Twitter at ADWDA11 down there in the scroll bar.
All right, and last but not least, Sean J. Let everybody know where they can reach you at, man.
Sean J, you can reach me on YouTube or on Twitter, Sean J _.
All right, and then myself, Twitter is T Muhammad 23. If you want to check me out on YouTube, Mr. T Money 1993. So let's go ahead and get into the show, man. We gotta definitely do a better job about time tonight. We can't go like we did last time, but Greg, we'll start off with Saints versus Raiders. Raiders won, what was it, 35-34?
35-34.
What was your thoughts about that game?
It was a roller coaster game. It was a heck of a game. I mean, overall, it was definitely a heck of a game. Overall, I liked a lot of the things I got to see out of the Saints. I think the offense really showed a lot. Especially the offensive line was the biggest worry. I think that was scared the crap out of everybody. Were they going to be actually pretty good? And were they going to play well enough to stop Khalil Mack? And plus, you got Bruce Irvin there too. So, and they actually did pretty well. I mean, other than the sack fumble in the first quarter, like the first couple plays of the game, which the defense held them to a field goal instead of a touchdown. That was pretty much the only play. Other than that, Breeze pretty much torched them all day long. The receivers knew it because they were a little faster. They used their speed and to get into space and just pretty much torched them. I mean, like, for the most part. The defense pretty much held them to 10 points for the first three quarters, and the wheels kind of fell off. And a lot of it was, part of it was Delvin Breaux, losing Delvin Breaux. And then you got three rookies out there, and really two of the rookies are fine. I mean, I think P.J. Williams, Devontae Harris will be fine. Ken Crawley is our boom or bust guy, who I don't know, he's still not quite there yet, because you could tell, they pretty much had him on Crabtree, and they were just like using Crabtree all day. And so it was one of those games that, it was definitely a heartbreaker. I kind of knew they were going to go for two anyway. It made sense to do it when they scored the last touchdown. So I was like, well, they're going to go for two. I know it. And he did. And they got it on top of that. And they went against Crawley with Michael Crabtree. So, they knew who to pick on, because they didn't pick on the other two nearly as much. They picked on Crawley. Anyway, and still the field goal kicker nearly made it. If he had hit enough leg, just couldn't get it in the uprights. But overall, the game there was some positives. The biggest worry is that defense. The biggest worry is that's really the cornerbacks more than anything. Not as much safeties, really the cornerbacks are the biggest worry. And the lack of pass rush in that game is going to be the two things right there that's going to hurt them. That's going to be the biggest worry. So we could be looking at a lot of 40-39, 35-34 shootout games this year. And for the most part, Saints probably can win a lot of those games, a few of those games. Some of those games they're not going to win, because some teams, they can be just as high powered. So, This week against the Giants is going to be, man, very interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. That's what I was thinking out of a lot of that game. Was especially the defense, and that was my whole thing. I didn't know as far as a team wise, how would they be thinking of pretty much because to me that's the best chance y'all really have of winning this year is hoping to make shootouts, and then to still take a loss when you play the way you want to play.
Hmm.
Uh, I just hope it doesn't like last year. It felt sort of the same thing. I don't think
It
y'all won a
was.
game in the
It,
preseason last year either,
yeah,
and
no, we
then
did.
came in the season and dropped. What was it? The first three?
Couple like yeah, something like that. Like we went, I think we went like 2-3 or 2-6, something in that range. They'll
Yeah.
win,
So
and then they played a few win, and then they'll win. They'll go in their streaks. They'll lose 3 or 4 games in a row or something like that. Then they'll win 4 in a row, and then they'll somehow in the middle of the season, I don't know what happens. They just kind of lose it there for some reason. Especially when, I mean, they had some couple years ago, they had like home field advantage on like 3 or 5 games or something like that. That they should have been able to take advantage of to get them over toward the playoffs, and they choked on those games. So, I don't know. Like I said, this year, like I told you, I came in. I mean, I'm optimistic, but I mean, I don't know what the heck's going to happen. I know they still got ways to go. I understand that. There's still a lot of growth and for them to work on. So we'll see. I mean, it is going to be a lot of shootout games. I think that's what it's going to come down to, is that they're going to have to just light it up, and they got enough weapons to do it. So if the defense, but I wouldn't expect the defense to mature. Hopefully until the middle of the season. That's when I really was hoping that the defense would get better. But they got to stay healthy to do it. If they do not stay healthy, then I don't know what's going to happen.
okay. Uh, moving on to the next game of the week, we had Tampa and Atlanta. What was the final score of that game? 31-21.
It's
Uh,
31-24.
31-24.
okay, 31-24. Sean J, I guess since your team took the L, we're going to start off with your thoughts on the game.
Um, I think that it was a pretty evenly. I think we both are pretty evenly matched team, but I think Tampa in the third quarter had a better stretch of play. Ending the second quarter with the touchdown and beginning the third and fourth. I mean, beginning the third with 2 touchdowns. I think that kind of pulled them away enough to where they could not coast to a victory, but where they pretty much limped to a victory because we had the ball at the end with a chance to go down and tie the game, but just ran out of time. But I think it was a good game. I think the Tampa Bay's front seven is definitely underrated coming into the season. I think defensive line wise with the pass rushers from Ayers and Jerry McCoy and their linebacking group with Quan Alexander at 16, 15 tackles and a sack. Uh, Levante David, man, I got to give credit to the Buccaneers. They actually came out and showed up. I think secondary wise, they had a lot of breakdowns that we exploited. With Matt Ryan had a lot of passing yards, but we didn't get into the end zone enough. We settled. So the offense played well in the game, but that stretch that the defense gave up at the end of the second half and the beginning of the third kind of did us in. So I think on both sides of the ball with Jameis Winston, Doug Martin, Charles Sims, and their wide receivers, Mike Evans. But I think it was an evenly played game to where they did enough at one stretch of the game to kind of pull away. So
Okay. Uh, Let me ask you this: did it worry you any that y'all didn't get any sacks in the game?
um, I mean, looking back on it, you can say, well, that kind of contributed to them scoring the touchdowns. Yeah, if we got a sack, we probably could have made a couple stops and actually won the game. But we kind of shot ourselves in the foot outside of sacks, man, with penalties, lining up off sides, unnecessary roughness, and Robert Alford getting a penalty by putting his hand in the face of the player, then giving up a touchdown on like 2 plays later. kind of a lot of self-inflicted wounds, not something that we didn't do in the game. It's kind of stuff that we did to ourselves a lot. I mean, on top of what the Buccaneers actually did in between the whistle. You know what I mean? They played good football, not taking anything away from them. But the sacks need to get better. We need to get sacks. At the same time, I think that we still had a chance to win the ball game. Or at
Yeah,
least tie the ball game.
most definitely. So do you think it's a play calling issue or personnel or?
Uh, I mean, I was upset we didn't go to Julio as much. I think through 3 quarters, Julio only had 3 targets with 2 catches. And that's before he got injured in the 4th quarter. So I think we kind of checked it down to the running backs a lot and went to the tight ends a lot. We didn't go to our wide receivers enough as I wanted them to, because Vernon Hargraves was on Julio a lot of the game, and I don't think that was a matchup that Kyle Shanahan actually exploited like he should have. So I think that
I don't know if you could.
play calling could have gotten better, but you got to look at it. Matt Ryan still had 334 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So, I mean, yardage was there, but I don't think we was as effective in the passing game as we should have been.
So do you really think? Because honestly, watching the game, like sitting back and watching it bit by bit, it looked like they was honestly using Julio as a decoy a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think he is a decoy a lot of. I mean, even watching I watched Mohamed Sanu mic up after the game. That's what Raheem Moore is the former Bucks coach, who's our wide receiving coach now, said to Julio. He says, even though you're a decoy, you're a damn good decoy. You know that, but I'm no decoy. You know what I mean? I watched Antonio Brown play Monday night. They just throwing the ball. I think with Julio, I don't care what it is. It's 2 on him. You got to throw the ball to Julio. Got to let him make plays. I'm not buying into the decoy, because the player that you may be throwing the ball to, I mean, the percentages may not be as high if you were throwing it to Julio. So I'm not big on the decoy thing.
Okay. So because of my selfish reasons, I have Devontae Freeman on one of my fantasy teams. How's his injury looking right now?
I think I got him too.
Nah,
Actually, I
Freeman.
got him too.
Oh, Freeman's injury?
I was seeing my fantasy thing was saying he didn't practice today, or he
Yeah,
was
I heard
limited, or
with that too.
something
Yeah,
with his quad. I
he's
think.
limited, but I think that a lot of players popped up on the list for quad and hamstring. I think the NFL is just being more cautious. They're limiting players, keeping them out of practice. He probably can go. If they was to play today, he'd be able to play. But I don't think they really want to risk players in practice. I think they holding players out more and more each year for any little thing out of practice and preseason etc. So I think he's ready to go for the game. But with the way that we use Tevin Coleman in the first, got to be Freeman fantasy owners, because we use Tevin in the passing game more. We use them in the run game more. I think they really featured Tevin Coleman like they wanted to last year. So, I mean, you got to be on the lookout for that. So going to Oakland to the Saints and to the Panthers, see how we're going to use Coleman and see how we use Freeman. Because Freeman was
I
on the
was
sideline a lot of that game.
hearing all this time Freeman was supposed to be the receiving back, and then I look and tell me got 95, 90 receiving yards. I was like, come on now.
I mean, a lot of that was busted coverage, like the long 42-yard catch he had was just a busted coverage by the Buccaneers defense, man. He was wide open in the flat and ran up the sideline. It didn't get touched to like 30 yards down the field by the safety. So somebody missed an assignment on that play. So, yeah. But I wish he'd have scored.
All right. David, how do you? I mean, you're the only winner out of the week. How do you feel right now, man?
Obviously we feel pretty good. But Sean, I mean, like you were saying, it was a really evenly matched game, and I think really when it boils down to it is the Falcons really kind of owned the first and the fourth quarters of that game. And like you said, I agree with you. I think if there's 2 or 3 more minutes left on the clock, we may be talking about a different outcome or at least an overtime win for somebody. What it boiled down to for me was red zone defense. At the end of the day, the Falcons got into the red zone 4 times against us, and it was bend don't break. Forcing those field goals in the red zone versus giving up touchdowns. That ends up making the day because that's 12 points theoretically that the Falcons could have got that they didn't get, and that right there gives them the W over the Bucs. So definitely an evenly matched game. Defenses was the question for both teams coming into it, and both defenses came in ready to stop the run. That was evident from the very beginning. Nobody had anything outside on any pitch plays, misdirections, nothing. No running backs were getting outside on the run. There were a lot of big pass plays for the running backs. I don't think I've ever seen Doug Martin get that many catches in one game. It was pretty amazing to me, actually. And then, of course, like you said, Tevin kind of blew up once Devontae kind of was getting run down. Something that really kind of confused me, though, that the Falcons did, and I actually tweeted about it during the game, was there was a series there where a couple of possessions, they ran like five or six in a row play-action passes with Devontae, and he wasn't getting carries. I mean, I think he had 4 carries at the time in the game. They just kept going play action. And one of them actually was a sack where I believe it was Quan came in. They tried to go play action with Devontae. He didn't even look at Freeman. He just went straight for Ryan because, I mean, they tried to pull play action without setting up that run so many times. It was kind of confusing to me because Kyle Shanahan's a pretty good play caller, I think. But, going play action so much when they had no running game really set up really kind of confusing. I think it set up Matt Ryan for failure a little bit. And then, like you said, Julio out there, it was pretty obvious, I think, probably past the first quarter that Julio wasn't really going to be the Julio that everybody thought he was. And I mean, once that happened, the defense was able to kind of do some different things to cover the other receivers. Because Sanu, he took off in the first quarter, but after the first quarter, the team kind of settled down and was able to contain him a little bit better as well. So, like you said, Sean, I mean, a really balanced matchup. I'm really looking forward to the next one because I think it's going to be even better. At the end of the day, I think the big thing was that red zone defense, and that's really the end of the day. The touchdowns that they didn't score is what made the day.
Okay. And I guess our game, we took a 21-20 loss to the Broncos, losing to them for the second time in a row. Very frustrating game. I've seen some things that's uncharacteristic of my defense as far as the run defense and secondary taking bad angles, and honestly, that's what a lot of it was. I mean, Bradbury got juked one time. Trey Boston took a couple bad angles, which we were seeing that even in the preseason. When he gets there, he blows it up. When he doesn't, he misses bad. As far as pass coverage wise, I actually pretty much like what I saw for the most part. Bradbury, I think, gave up 4 catches for 40-something yards to Demarius Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders wasn't really going crazy. Honestly, one thing I was unhappy with was Shaq Thompson only got 18 snaps. I feel like he's too much of an athlete and he's too good on our defense to really get that low snaps. Just because you really can almost use him as a nickel.
Yeah.
And just to have a little bit more size to stop the run instead of putting Robert McClain out there so much and having him try to tackle C.J. Anderson. Gano missing the kick. It was frustrating, but I mean, I kind of knew it was coming once he barely made the first one. I was like, he's gonna super try to correct it and then miss the whole other way, and that's pretty much what happened. Offensively, it was good to see Kelvin being Kelvin. The running game was still a running game. I think we ran for like 150 yards, something like that. Pass protection wise, Rimmers did good at the beginning. I feel like, I mean, I'm not in the locker room, but if it looked like to me like Rimmers was like, all right, I'm feeling good. I got him. I got Vaughn by myself, and then Vaughn in the clutch, as the great ones do in the fourth quarter when they needed to play Von Miller. ends
Yep.
up getting the sack.
Yep.
And that's just a testament to his greatness. I mean, that's what you want your best players to do, your special
Exactly.
talents to do, is to show
Big
up in
piece.
crunch time.
Right. Yeah, that game was it was a great game. It really was a great game. I tell you, but I'm surprised they did play Shaq that little too. I didn't realize it was 18 snaps. You would think you would have got
Yeah,
more on that one.
and and then Worley didn't get on the field at all. He didn't get not one snap, and he was the other starting corner for most of the preseason. I was like, I understand, Ron. You said the starters wasn't sure, but to go from starting to no snaps the whole game, I was just like, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with Ron, but they had a pick, so I mean, I guess he knew what he was saying. But I was like, okay, like, because I was looking for him, you know what I'm saying? One of my rookie corners, I was like, okay, maybe Worley's gonna be the nickel cornerback, maybe he's gonna be the fourth cornerback. He wasn't on the field not one time.
Mm. What did you think about Coney Ealy, man? I know you're expecting big things coming off his Super Bowl performance. I think he may have got a couple of pressures, but he wasn't the same player that he was in the previous game. What do you think about Coney Ealy?
I didn't expect him to have a Super Bowl performance, but I do expect him to be a consistent pass rusher. And so the biggest thing with him is I just need him to stay out of Ron's doghouse because that's honestly what happened last year. Is Coney was having a good stretch running games during the regular season. He got in Ron's doghouse for going offside. It's like I don't know. Ron picks one good person to mess with every year. I mean, it was Coney last year. The year before it was Josh, where he was benching Josh for like half the season. Uh, but I wanted to see more from Coney. But I do know he was going against Russell Okung, which is he's not a slouch by any means. If you ever seen him
No.
play with
Oh
Seattle,
yeah, Seattle.
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
and even when they were running the ball, man, he looked Okung looked he looked damn good Thursday night. Well, last Thursday. Uh, I did see my other rookie, my first round pick, Vernon Butler, had a sack. But other than that, I mean, he had that sack, and I didn't really see him I didn't really notice him for the rest of the night. Uh, Homeboy we got from y'all, Post Solii, when he was in there, I felt like they were still struggling with the run, so that was kind of disappointing to me. Because that's what he was supposed to be doing is helping
Yeah.
to store up the run.
Solia is okay, but I mean, like, I think you give him too much hype.
I mean, I
I don't think.
think just as that rotational guy to replace Star, I mean,
Right.
I think he'll be good at that role. He's not going
No,
to
I'm fine.
start.
Right. That's fine plugging him in for a play here and there. You know what I mean? But I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I
got
think
to
that's always
if
good.
Star gets hurt and you got to depend on him, ugh, have fun with that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like at this point I would be more comfortable if Star was to get hurt to go with Vern and
KK.
Kawan.
Okay, let's jump on the elephant in the room. Cam Newton. What's what's your view on Cam Newton and the hits he took to the head and how he played before and after? How do you feel about that? In the refs, you can throw in the refs because I know y'all put a lot on the refs. So talk about the refs.
Um, I feel like the hits that he was taking. I mean, I don't blame Denver at all for the mentality that they had, the
No,
mentality
no,
that they
you can't.
expressed after
You
the
can't.
game of Cam's a big dude. You got to hit him. You got to make him where he doesn't want to scramble, where he doesn't want to run. I have no problem with Denver because if that's
Agree.
my defense and we going against a running quarterback or we
Yep.
going if we was to go against Cam,
You're
I
gonna
would
beat the
tell them the
crap out
same
of him.
thing.
Yeah, you're
What
gonna beat the
my
crap out of him. You want your defense to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what my problem is as a ref, you cannot ref differently. You cannot
Agree.
call differently just because he's who he is. Because that's
Right.
not. I mean, to me, it's no part in the rule book where it says, well, if the quarterback's 6'5", 250, 260, then he shouldn't get this call.
No.
Is
I
my
agree.
is my whole issue. Um, I feel like some of them that my fan base was getting excited about, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go with you on that one. Like the one where
The
DeMarcus hit
double
him.
sack.
DeMarcus
Yeah,
hit him and he
yeah.
kind of fell into Vaughn and they hit him and him and nah. To me, if you was getting mad about that one, you probably never played football before. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it wasn't like Vaughn tried to hit him or tried to mess him up.
No.
In that situation, it probably would have been worse if Vaughn hit him with the shoulder than they hit helmet to helmet. The way
Right.
Cam was going down.
They just bump faces.
Yeah, but the one with Brandon Marshall kind of jumping into Cam, I
Yeah.
felt like should have got flagged.
Which did
And
it get flagged? It did get flagged, but you don't
When,
because they had a double foul. It was a double foul on one of them.
nah, I thought that was the Stewart one.
I think you might be right. The store, right? Because that one
well,
they
if
obliterated
you
him on
watch the
that one.
game,
Oh my God! I thought they killed the guy for a second.
Yeah, the Stewart one is the one that got flagged,
Yeah,
and
right. It
it
was an
was a double
offset
flag.
penalty.
It was offsetting penalties, and
Right.
that was on that last drive. So I
Yeah.
mean, that would have helped as far as getting closer for a field goal.
Right.
Which I mean, the rules is the rules, but I feel like in the future that should be changed. If we really caring about concussions and player safety and this and the other, I don't think they should offset like that. I think it should still be some kind of penalty. Uh,
okay, I think we know it's well documented that Cam is a avid trash talker. He trash talks his players in training camp every day. If you watch the game Thursday, he trash talked after every positive play that he to Denver, even pushed TJ Ward. He ignites some of these hits that he takes, actually light fires under these guys that's actually coming after him. You don't think he needs to tone down the trash talking?
No.
Not really, because I mean, that's who he is. If you grew up, I mean, I ain't gonna say I grew up in, the most crazy place, but anybody growing up
Yeah.
who's competitive like that is talking trash no matter what it is. Basketball, football. The way me and my brother is, we can play checkers and we talking shit to each other. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Exactly.
So that's just, I don't really want him to tone that down because I feel like when he's not being himself, that's when he struggled in the Super
I put.
Bowl.
I can put
No
it like this.
dabbing, no first down pointing, no nothing at all like that, and it didn't help us win.
I put it like this, Sean. If for one, the players they should still be caving his chest in every minute they get, whether he says one word or not. For one thing,
Right.
and number two, if he wanted to get hit less, if the dot talking trash would get him hit less, that'll make you look at him as the same, wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? Because now he gone wimp on you.
Yeah. I think it's a fine line in between players respecting you and when they don't respect you, they're gonna aim at your head.
They still gonna hit. They still coming out there
They,
to
they,
knock your head off,
when
whether they
somebody
respect you or not.
when a player hit Drew Brees,
Uh-huh.
they don't hit Drew Brees to knock his head off. You might see a
No,
player help
oh
Drew
yes, they
Brees up.
do. If they can, they will.
If it's
I
division,
don't
I
see
mean,
nobody hitting
Couple
I feel
times
like
come through it.
any big game is gonna be like division rivals. I mean, they all thumping.
Absolutely. You're gonna you. I mean, because let me tell you right now, I expect every Saints player to come out there and rip off a head of the other team's quarterback every day. They don't, but I expected that to happen. You know what I mean? Because they supposed to come out there.
Right.
You supposed to kind of knock that fear into him. So if you banging him around, now it changes him a little bit.
Right.
Some guys it doesn't. But some guys, there's enough guys out there. If you hit them enough, you hit Tom Brady enough. Tom Brady's a different quarterback when he started getting the hell knocked out of him.
Tap dancing
You
like
know?
Gregory
And
Hines.
I feel like we can't. I mean, I feel like Denver's is some talking shit. If you ever hear Maurice Jones-Drew, who is T.J. Ward's cousin,
Ultimate trash talk. Yeah, I met the
if
dude.
you
I know.
if you ever hear him describe what TJ be saying or how TJ feel about this and that, you can tell. I mean, it ain't Cam just out there talking to himself.
No. Nope.
TJ's little brother play on our team. You know, Teron Ward, that's TJ Ward's little brother.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
but
our
I just
third
feel
running
like
back.
Denver wise. I mean, Von Miller been talking all season. Like I said, I don't think Denver versus Carolina. I don't think it's just Cam talking to himself.
No,
Do
no.
you,
I
do
mean,
you
there's some
think it?
joint going on both sides. Always, you know.
Do, do,
There's some joint.
do you
There's some joint
think
going
that
on.
is
Say it again.
do you think it's just Denver that has Carolina's number, or has Carolina, or is that the type of play that we can see from Carolina more this year, or is it just Denver that brings that type of play out
At this point, honestly, I'm feeling like Denver right now feels to me the way Seattle did for a couple years,
Hmm.
where no matter what, no matter how we feel going into the game, no matter what goes on in the game, we can have a lead for the whole game. Seattle was gonna win. I mean, whether it's I can't remember what was it, 2013,
Yeah.
2012, where
Yeah.
we going on a game-winning drive. I'm at the stadium with the voice. Me and the voice at the stadium or whatever. D'Angelo going for the game-winning touchdown. He gets caught from behind by I think it was Earl Thomas and fumbles going to the end zone.
of
It's just I just feel like right now, to me, thank God we ain't got to see Denver unless I mean, both made the Super Bowl probably for the next what 4 years probably when they
yeah,
rotate divisions.
every 4 years?
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah,
every
every
4 years or something like that
every four
because
years.
yeah, you play like one NFC, one AFC, so it's probably about 4 years. If you probably won't see them again for another 4 years,
Yeah,
which
so
is going to be a
hopefully
totally different team in 4 years.
hopefully by that time, Vaughn a couple steps slower.
Well, you guys
Uh,
will be too because I
Cam will
mean,
be.
don't expect it because you guys are kind of riding the high right now. You're kind of at your peak at this point. That 4 years there, you might be kind of tailoring down the roller coaster yourself.
Cam will be
as long
what,
as we keep
31?
this,
It's hard to keep it up for five,
One.
6 years, dude. It's hard to keep that up for 5, 6 years,
yeah, that's true.
especially with
But
interchangeable parts, especially when you get new parts. Because I mean,
but
look at the Saints. They
Free
had their peak,
agency.
and now they're kind of like retooling to try to get back up for it. Get back up again. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
every team goes through it. Tampa Bay went through it. I mean, Atlanta kind of had a peak where they had 2 or 3 years where they were a pretty decent team, and now you're kind of retooling to try to move up. It's that roller coaster. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
4 years
But pretty
you
much
two different teams.
with us saying all that, Sean J, I'm not mad that we're not gonna see Denver for a while.
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm not looking forward to Denver either. Not with that defense. Jesus.
But go ahead, looking at next week. Um, New Orleans has what? The Giants.
Yeah, we have the
Uh,
Giants.
Atlanta has Oakland.
Oakland. Yep.
Tampa has Arizona,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
and we have the 49ers. Real quick, Greg, what's three keys for y'all to beat the Giants?
I think this could be a closer game than what people thinking. Well, let's say it like this. I know fantasy wise, if you I pretty much common sense will say if you have a Giants receiver, play the mother.
Got him.
I mean, I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that. So I'm gonna tell you this now from a Saints fan. I can't hate you. I ain't gonna be mad at you because I would do it too. You know what I'm saying? If I had a Giants receiver, I'd probably play him. I can't even lie.
Shoot,
So
I had to
and
play
everybody's
Eli
gonna do
last
it.
year.
Everybody's gonna do it. But I mean, like, I wouldn't. Like I said, I got the feeling it's gonna be another shootout game. I really do. I know the Giants spent all this money on their new retooled defense and the offense. Overall, I mean, they got a decent offense. And the Saints got an explosive offense, but the defense is suspect. So we'll see what happens. If the Saints can start lighting it up a little bit and kind of open it up, we probably got us a good game going. Like I said, I picked the Saints to beat the Raiders by a field goal, and I almost damn near got it. And I'm gonna pick them against the Giants by a field goal. And the only reason I say that because I got a feeling the Saints. Basically, I think it's more of a who gets the ball last type game is what it's going to kind of come out to. I think is how it's going to turn out. If the Giants get the ball last, the likelihood is they're probably going to win. If the Saints get the ball last, chances are they're probably going to win. Because I don't think this Giants defense is necessarily all that stout just yet. You know what I mean? They maybe later in the season they kind of get the chemistry going, but I think this is a good time to play them. And I know you're playing them on the road, but you know we've won games on the road, so I think the road woes deal is over a little bit. But I like the Saints in this. I'm gonna take the Saints in this game by 3. Actually, by 1. I'm gonna say by 1. By 1. I mean, I'm gonna go by 1. Saints in this game by 1.
All right. David. 3 keys for the Bucks to beat Arizona.
3 keys for the Buccaneers to beat Arizona. Definitely got to stop David Johnson. That kid, he's an animal. Definitely lived up to the hype in week 1. Definitely got to keep contained on him. Levante and Quan Alexander and Darryl Smith or whoever's playing back there with him at whatever given time they're gonna have their hands full, with him. So that's definitely the first key. The second key is gonna be protecting Jameis Winston. The Cardinals blitz like nobody's business, and if they get in on Jameis, then he's gonna throw a couple interceptions. He doesn't take sacks. That's the Falcons found out. He just doesn't take sacks. It's not that you can't get in on him. He's gonna get rid of the ball. So if he does that too much, and especially towards Patrick Peterson over there, it's not going to go well. And then I think the slot receivers. I think that's going to be really the key to the game, to be honest with you, because I think Mike Evans. I think he's going to get some catches. He's going to get some touches, but I think Peterson's probably going to lock him down for the most part for most of the game. Yeah. Vincent Jackson going on the opposite side. I don't know who's going to play over there for the Cardinals. To be honest with you.
That rookie they had, probably Brandon Williams.
They got that kid. He got torn up, so I don't know if
you got the running back who's a hell of a ball hawk himself. Yeah, he'll be around.
They just picked up a guy used to play for Seattle today. I don't know much about him. We'll see who's on that side, but those slot receivers, I think Cecil Shorts.
Is it Darryl Simon they picked up?
Yep, there you go. That's who it was.
Darryl Simon, decent player. I would have loved to.
Yeah, he might be over there. Who knows? But I think those slot guys, man. Cecil Shorts is going to get. I think he got like 1 offensive snap, week 1, which isn't a surprise. He just joined the team, but I think giving him another week of work. Get him some snaps with the offense and get him a little comfortable. I think him and Adam Humphries can do some damage over in the middle, especially against those blitz packages. And Charles Sims too. I mean, look out for that guy. Everybody knows he's a better receiver than Doug Martin is, and he could be in for another big week, especially for the fantasy guys out there. So those are the keys to the game, I think. At the end of the day, I love my Bucks, and I love the way we're going. But there's just too much. There's too much talent, too much experience on the Cardinals team. Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, how do you go against those guys? But I don't think it's going to be. I think a lot of people outside the NFC South, outside the Buccaneers fan base, are probably thinking the Cardinals this is their gimme game. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as a lot of people think it is. And if I have to be honest and unbiased, I'm going to say Cardinals by 7. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, that's 3 damn good points.
I think the Cardinals are on. They're on their toes for this game because I feel like they let the Patriots game slip away that they should have won. So they lose to the Patriots and then to the Buccaneers back to back. I think.
That gives Aaron to put their foot on their necks and really work them, put the hell out of them too. Believe me.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose this game.
No.
I'm pretty sure they marked both of these off as a win at the beginning of the year, so they cannot lose this game. If they were NFC favorites, even if they want to compete for the NFC West, because I think San Francisco is improved, but
of course you do.
Yeah, I do. Especially this week.
Go ahead and give us 3 points for y'all and the Raiders, man.
All right. One of my points is gonna be it's gonna be one of my 3 points every week is taking care of the ball, man. No turnovers. Last week we didn't have any turnovers, which I was happy with. Wasn't happy with the result, but take care of the ball. Get the ball to Julio, man. Get the ball to Julio. Let the playmakers make plays. So let's get the ball to Julio. Let's get it to Devontae. Let's get it to Tevin Coleman. Put the ball in your playmakers' hands. And another thing is stop the pass. I watched the Raiders play against the Saints last week. Outside of like the big long run that the Raiders had that scored a touchdown, I don't know how he got through there, but a lot of it was the pass. Their offense was pass heavy with Amari Cooper and Amari Cooper going underneath and him working against P.J. Williams and then Michael Crabtree. Stop those two guys. I think our secondary is a little bit better to where we can slow them down a little bit more with Trufant. And I don't even want to say Alfred name. He screwed us last week. But stop the pass. Take care of the ball in our playmakers' hands. Because I think we can do enough on offense. Watching the defense last week, they gave up a lot of big plays on defense. Either Drew Brees is just – I just commend that dude for his accuracy. That's one thing that hasn't left him.
Yeah, but
he know how to put the ball on. He know how to put the ball on the spot.
Yeah, but you also got to remember, Saints got smaller, quicker receivers with Snead and Cooks. Plus, you got Thomas as well. So they got a lot of speed up in there that the Raiders had a hard time with. I don't know. Other than Julio, who else do you really have that got that speed that equals theirs? Because that's what'll be. That's what's going to beat the Raiders.
Not nobody with the blazing speed, but I think that just watching them, I think they were even on the Cooks touchdown. That was just he shouldn't have let the guy get behind him. I think Sean Smith?
Sean Smith didn't have a chance. Sean Smith didn't have a chance. Are you kidding me?
So I mean, if you could put Julio in that spot, Julio would have did him the same way. So
I don't think Shanahan gonna call that play for 99 yards though.
He ain't gonna call that play. Sean Payton got the guts to call plays like that. Shanahan does not have the guts.
Shanahan gonna call 28 pitch to
cover.
Yeah.
Shanahan
he's gonna run the ball. He's gonna throw those short West Coast passes.
Hey, what David said earlier about Matt Ryan play action, and he had Matt Ryan doing play actions. He got sacked one time in the red zone doing like zone read type play action. Like we shaking it, they just coming straight. So I think them long developing plays kind of screwed us a lot, man. And I don't think we attacked the end zone enough. So the one time we did attack the end zone with a pass with our bigger receivers was when Sanu caught the touchdown. That was the only time that we attacked the end zone through the air. So I think that we need to like I said, utilize our playmakers and put the ball in their hands.
Now, do you have enough confidence in your?
We ran the ball too much in the red zone last week.
Now, let me ask you this: do you have enough confidence in your offensive line to stop? You got Bruce Irvin on one side, you got Khalil Mack on the other. Don't get me wrong, because I was scared to death about that with the Saints, and they was able to hold them. Do you have that? Because
we gave up a sack to Robert Ayers last week, and Jerry McCoy caused a lot of havoc up the middle on our right guard.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jake Matthews and our right guard need to get it together based on last week, but I'm not too concerned with our play at all. I'm get that strip sack the first drive, but I don't think he showed much more after that. I don't even remember seeing Khalil Mack dominate the game like I thought he would.
No, Armstead kind of ate him. Armstead kept him out of there.
What I'll say about Armstead though is Armstead is really athletic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing about he can keep up with a fast guy who got edge.
Yeah.
Now, Streif is usually a question that you got to worry about because he's a little slower.
And their defensive line was getting, and their linebackers too was getting killed in the screen game. Man, the Saints was getting wide open screens last week. They was over.
Yeah, I mean, Jari, Andrus Pete was kind of killing them in there, and Unger, of course. So I mean, the offensive line played really, really well. Scared the hell out of everybody. I think that's what everybody really worried about more than anything.
Right.
And they actually played pretty well.
I think we got to take the initial punch of them being on their home field for the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So once you take the punch and once you take the crowd's jab, by the second quarter, it should be all football. So
yeah, you're going to Oakland?
Going to Oakland.
Ooh.
Black hole.
Yeah.
All right. 3 keys for us as far as playing the 49ers. First key, stop the run.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde looked really good against the Rams. And Blaine Gabbert, it wasn't that he was running for the most yards. It just seemed to me like, especially in the first half, every time it was third down, he was scrambling for the first.
Yeah, he was getting it.
Well, he can't throw worth
a damn. He might as well run.
So again, that's why I'm hoping to see more of Shaq Thompson, because I think honestly, between Luke, Thomas, and Shaq, you can use any one of them 3 as a spy, and I feel like they would do a good job with Blaine. But Luke Kuechly, as far as against Carlos Hyde, is a key matchup for me. Second, make Blaine Gabbert a thrower. He looked really inaccurate against the Rams, and the Rams had a lot of opportunities for interceptions that they just didn't make plays on. Third, I feel like offensively we need to take advantage of the man-on-man. Now their game plan may be different because you're not playing Case Keenum. But it seemed like when they were playing the Rams, they were just putting everybody in the box and playing man on the outside.
Because they knew that was Gurley a bust. It was Todd Gurley a bust that game. They knew that the game.
Yeah, you're right. You shut down Gurley. Keenum is a non-factor.
Yeah, so I don't think they will. But if they did go with that same game plan against us, I feel like you got to let our people go one-on-one and win that matchup. That's why I was happy with Kelvin's performance. Chris Harris is a damn good corner, and he was on him most of the night, and Kelvin did a pretty good job as far as being able to get open. And I didn't really see it looking like 2014 where Cam's got to force it here and there all game. When it looked like, for the most part, when he threw it to Kelvin, Kelvin was beating whoever was on him or in an open spot in the zone. You're right. Second half, they changed up the defense and gave them a different look. But that's my 3 keys for that game. Real quick, Sean J., who's your NFC South Performer of the Week? Somebody that wasn't on your team.
NFC South Performer of the Week. I'm biased, man. I'm going to have to go with my guy, my Seminole, Jameis Winston, man. That's my guy. Is always going to be my guy. Even though he played for the other team, I had him before the Bucs had him. So, Jameis Winston.
Okay. I expected that. David, who was your NFC South Performer of the Week?
It's got to be Drew Brees. I know, obviously everybody lost, but if the Saints pull out that win, I think he's actually probably the NFL Offensive Player of the Week over Jameis. I think the only reason, you're not going to want to give it to a team that lost, but the way that he played, despite the fact that his defense just kept putting him in bad positions, let that game get out of their hands and out of their stadium. I think he showed why he deserves a contract extension, even if it is less money. He showed why he deserves to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Very true. Greg, who's your NFC South Performer of the Week?
I'm gonna have to go with Jameis Winston. My other guy would be Drew Brees. I think both of them are clear cut. Your 2 best guys. Yeah, one of the 2. You know what I mean? And you're really not wrong. Don't get me wrong, because you know me, I've been a Winston fan myself too. I felt like all the crap that a lot of people were talking about him coming into the league was BS. You know what I mean? Because I knew the dude. You could tell the dude understood football. He knew the game, and he's showing it out there. And he's dead serious about being a great player. So as much as I hate that he is on the Bucs, don't get me wrong, I do, in a sense, I wish the best for the guy, in a sense that he does do well and have a good career. to kind of shut up the haters a little bit, because I think a lot of people kind of talk out their ass a little bit about a lot of stuff and really don't know anything, but just kind of jabber and really don't know, whether what is the difference with what's on the field, off the field, and what goes on under the center. And he knows what happens under the center, and he's fine. So, he'll be fine. He'll be a good, really, really good player for a long time to come, I think. If he keeps his head on straight, and I think he will. Actually, I kind of trust that he will.
Very true. Same here. I gotta go, Jameis.
Yeah,
Jameis definitely had a good game.
yeah.
But because I am the host, I'm gonna throw an audible mention in there. Quan Alexander, man, 17 tackles and a sack.
Good game. Yes, you're
Man,
right.
Yep.
Another player I like a lot. I do like that kid a lot.
Yep.
yeah. Quan definitely looked good. Like
Hmm.
David said, Breeze looked good. This point, I just couldn't. I didn't feel right putting him over Winston because Winston did get the win, and you know what I'm
Yes,
saying.
understandable. I
Uh,
get it. Absolutely, I totally get that. I'm not gonna. Like I said, you're not really wrong picking either one. You're really not. I mean, both of them had really, really good performances. Very good performances.
Yep.
yeah. So next week we'll all be here, same
Yep.
time, same place.
Right.
Sean J, go ahead and let everybody know where they can reach you at.
Reach me again on Twitter, Sean J _ on YouTube, Sean J SHON J. 1-1 coming up. We 1-1. Panthers 0-2.
Oh Lord, boy, stop. Greg, go ahead.
You can contact me at IntenseGB on Twitter. Feel free to follow me. I'll definitely follow you back. And definitely looking forward to talking to some of you.
All right, David.
All right, yeah, you can definitely hit me up on Twitter at ADWDA11, and all my writing is on thepewterplank.com, so head over there and check it out as well.
All right, and then myself. The Twitter is T Muhammad 23. The YouTube is Mr. T Money 1993. Also, if you around here in the North Carolina area, if you listen to WFNZ, I'm normally on there in the mornings, probably I don't know 3 times a week at least. Other than that, anybody who supports me, I should be coming out with my new gaming channel soon. Uh, Other than that, Cat Chronicles, you can go ahead and hit them up. Joe the freaking Puerto Rican. Shout out to him. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Aaron. All of them that from Cat Chronicles. But that's gonna be our show for tonight.